But it's interesting, eyebrows are being raised around Meghan Markle's brand as ever. Now, of course, she launched this lifestyle brand after ditching the original name, American Riviera Orchard. And while Meghan has publicly been boasting about selling out of her jams and, some wines in an interview, other wines such as the Sauvignon Blanc that she released last week are still available for purchase, and there are no indications of stock shortages, Angela.
Yeah, I don't think she's selling that much. I mean, initially that first drop with the jams and a few other products, the flour sprinkles and that sort of thing, it was on the back of her show. I think there were so few units up for sale that they sold out instantly because there weren't many.
That's the trick.
Now that she's got the flow of goods coming through, there's just no interest in it. There's not the interest in her. And this is interesting. This is why I think Netflix has done this first look deal with them. Instead of renewing their deal with Meghan and Harry because they think that they are a prize, now it's like, oh, we're going to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Of course, Netflix is bankrolling and is part of the administration of her business. I'm surprised that they aren't driving it harder to get better sales, better results. But let's remember, Meghan's an actress, then she was a duchess, and now she's a businesswoman, and she just goes from one thing to the other. Is she A-grade at any of it?
No, it's a good point. I don't think she is. Now, Prince Andrew is in the spotlight again. It's been revealed that Prince Andrew, he reportedly told Jeffrey Epstein that we're in this together, and also expressed a desire to, quote, play some more, just months after saying that he had severed ties with the convicted pedophile. So the Duke of York is said to have sent the message on February 28, 2011, and in this email obtained by The Sun, it appears that he has contradicted his interview that he gave on BBC's Newsnight back in 2019, the interview we'll never forget, in which he claimed that he had not spoken to Epstein since December 2010. Is that right?
I'd go further than a contradiction. I'd say it's an out-and-out lie. This shows that he contacted Epstein, that he was in this friendship with him deeply, that we're in it together. He tried to paint that his friendship with Epstein was a sort of passing thing. They weren't that close, that sort of thing. Also, the timing of this email. It came the day after the picture was published in the Mail on Sunday of his arm around Virginia Giuffre. Now, if he had an issue with that picture at the time, if he didn't know who that woman was, or has this photo been manipulated, he would have surely have said that to Epstein in that email. He didn't. The fact he didn't draw that to the attention of Epstein the day after it had been published, and then later went on to say, I don't know who she is, I've never met her. The optics on it are terrible. Now, the King has to act because this is going to affect the monarchy. The fact is they're losing credibility around this. You cannot have Andrew sitting there. He needs to be stripped of his title. He needs to be stripped of Order of the Garter. I don't know how you get him out of that house because he's got a long lease on it. But if you think King Edward VIII was exiled because he abdicated and wanted to marry a divorcee, the fact that, on the scale of wrongdoing, that is tiny compared to a guy fraternising with a pedophile. Andrew needs to be exiled.
Now, King Frederik has been called out by the press. Now, it's interesting. Tell me more about this, because even the best kind of royal PR spin can't stop some of the reports. What's he been called out for?
I know, and I don't want to call him out because I love Mary and Fred. They're gorgeous. He's lazy. Frankly, he hasn't been doing the job. And so the Danish press have been saying, he's counting up his holidays, saying he's always taking mini breaks. He's had 45 days off this year. And while they don't target Mary because she's very hardworking, there's basically how much work is he doing? And when he's not, of course, being king, if he's off being somewhere else, it falls to Christian, his son, who's a teenager, or his octogenarian mother. And they're making the point that, you've got the top role, mate, you've got to do the job. Look, he has, to be fair, always said that timeouts are very important to him. He has never really sought this role. He is much more, a beta style monarch, whereas Mary's the one that has the credentials to be, a magnificent queen. So I just think the optics are interesting on it because the Danish press are generally pretty in favour of the royals.
Yes, and now let's talk about King Charles. He's saved the World Conker Championships on the eve of its 60th anniversary. What more can you tell us about this?
I love this story. So the conkers in Europe at the moment aren't big enough. They haven't been able to source big enough conkers. On his Windsor estate, the king has nice, big, fat, chunky conkers. He's heard about this crisis in the conker world. He's donated 300 conkers. They're now being kept for the finals. The conker championships are thrilled to have the royal support. I'm not suggesting that the king went out and personally picked these conkers himself, but I do love this story. It just shows. And look, the royalty, they didn't publicise this fact. It's the conker championships that have said, oh my gosh, we've got these conkers from the royals. And
brilliant.
I love it. I just think these are the things where the monarchy is built up because it's such goodwill. It's attuned to the people. And if you continue to be attuned and responsive to ordinary, genuine people, not like the Andrew issues, those sorts of things, if you focus on that, that's where you're going to sustain, where you're going to have that longevity of monarchy and you're going to leave a legacy to William.
Just finally, in the world of entertainment, Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau, they've now been putting their romance on display. Photos obtained by Fox News Digital show that the couple were spotted sharing some PDA while on board Katy Perry's yacht. It's pretty, while in Santa Barbara last week. Also pretty funny to say, to note, some people are pointing out that the yacht would also be chewing up some carbon, something that Justin Trudeau may be being called a hypocrite for. But what did you make of this?
I'm deeply saddened because Trudeau is my political crush.
Sorry,
sorry. I know it's shallow, but I don't imagine he is yours. But look, funny. I love these couples, these unexpected couples that are coming out of the woodwork. Trudeau and Katy Perry, Elizabeth Hurley and Billy Ray Cyrus, Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. And they're these repartnerings that you don't expect, but especially this time because we're at the axis of politics and pop culture. Like, it's a really interesting, I don't know how it'll go. It's interesting, will he want that level of attention? How do they drive their different brands side by side? But also there was a bit of a gropey action on the boat where he was grabbing well, look, they're together. So I suppose you wouldn't call it gropey. That's a bit unfair, but it's kind of not a look that a former Prime Minister wants to project, I wouldn't have thought. Particularly if you want to do things like someone like Tony Blair has done and you have a really large presence on the world stage, you kind of don't want to be on a boat photographed.
I'm not sure.
Bum.
I feel like he won't mind the attention or the spotlight, but we'll wait and see how it goes. Angela Mollard, thank you so much.